Genesis 1, verse 8, it says, Then God blessed them and said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Next chapter, chapter 2, verse 15. Then the Lord took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to cultivate or tend and keep it. So God gave man this ability to have dominion over whatever's in the earth, and also to cultivate, to tend, and to keep what he's put him in charge of. God put him in charge of the Garden of Eden, and he had the responsibility to cultivate and tend it. Now, this is something that we can do in every area of our life, just about every area that I can think. And if you think about even the example of a garden, what happens when you cultivate a garden? What do you do? You water it, you weed it, you make sure it's adequate light, not too much light for some plants, just enough light, right? And then beautiful fruit grows. But what happens when you stop cultivating that garden? Weeds take over, right? Like almost like overnight. They just like weeds are everywhere. And then the weeds grow taller than the actual fruit bearing plants. And then the plants aren't getting enough sun. The weeds are also sucking up a lot of the water in the garden. So the plants aren't getting enough water. And so the weeds are taking up all the resources that the fruit bearing plants need. And what ends up happening? Little to no fruit from that garden, or bad fruit from that garden. So without man cultivating something, things naturally tend toward disorder. Things naturally tend toward declining. Things naturally will stop making forward progress. And that's exactly how we are with our relationship with God. If you're not advancing in your walk with God, you can't just coast. People think that they can coast with God, but as soon as you start coasting, you start moving backwards. You have to be continually getting stronger in the spirit, or eventually your soul and your spirit, or your soul and your body, will overtake and become stronger.